Smash.
Welcome to the Denim and Pearls podcast. Business casual conversation laced with pearls of wisdom. Casual, authentic, unscripted dialogue about life, work, and entrepreneurship with the perfect blend of laughter and seriousness. Pull up a chair, kick back, and lean in as we welcome your hosts, Michelle Ross and Brian Swanson.
All
right, just gonna sing. It's a singing show for you today.
Dancing in the moonlight. Okay. Hi, my name is Michelle Ross.
I'm Brian Swanson.
And we're Denim and Pearls. And this is Ariel, our guest today.
Hey, little one.
We're Denim and Pearls, and we're business casual with
Pearls of Wisdom.
From the Porch.
Wow, we're on today.
We are.
So spooky, scary. It's very scary, spooky.
What scares you?
Well, I think I put in the comments, we always hear that fear doesn't move us forward, but being scared, that's kind of fear of the future. So we don't move forward. Well, what about our past? What in our past scares us that keeps us from moving forward?
What in our past puts a perception in our minds?
There's that word again. Perception.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that's kind of the thought process I had, but that doesn't mean we have to stick there, of course.
We'll start it. What do you want to do?
I don't know. See, we're both just getting awake.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got to be like 6 a.m. somewhere on the East Coast or
2
something. I don't
a.m.
know.
and I'm still awake. Well, I am, I think, still in Paris time, so I'm really struggling right now. But when we talked about being scared,
mm-hmm.
well, people always talk about business, about what you're afraid of and why you don't grow and what's holding you back. And what I'm thinking with the scary is, what are we afraid to do? Not what's actually like scaring us from it is what wild and crazy. Basically, what I did when I was in Europe was think beyond the box. Basically, this is what you think you want to do. What do you want to do? Now, if you wanted to take it one step further and go crazy wild with it, now what would you do? And we went to Disneyland Paris as a perfect example. And then we went to a lot of castles where they had a castle. It's an old thing. It's nice. It's pretty. It's got great history. But how do you make it better? How do you make old things new? And what we learned was it's scary to adjust things that people are used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's because they're more scared than you are.
So we don't want to change things because we don't want to frighten away our clients. But what we found, like with Disneyland,
apparently there's a lot of things to be scared of Disneyland these days.
But with Disneyland, they adjusted and started bringing more things in. Now, I wasn't at the American one. I was in Paris.
Right, he was in the Paris one.
And the Paris one, I mean, they had alcohol and people didn't understand the fairy tales and things like that. So they adjusted and they're like, okay, will the European clientele like this?
Right.
And what it was is they adjusted it to the American way, and the Europeans came to watch the American way. It actually drew them instead of forcing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because normally you want to put stuff that people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in your business, what scares you? I mean, there's something that you might want to do. I probably shouldn't do that. They're probably not going to like that.
I think we actually scare ourselves more than anything else.
Yeah.
But we do all of that related on our past. I mean, it could be something that an old friend did to you. It could be the fact that you experienced a bad business once.
It may not even be you. Maybe you watch somebody else suffer through something. You're like, I'm not letting that happen to me.
Well, I guess a good story for that one, honestly, I was adopted, and I think most people out here know that. But also one of my sisters or half sisters, which is not technically related by blood, she was adopted. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is even after seeing my experience of positiveness of meeting my birth parents and stuff, she doesn't want anything to do with trying to find her birth parents because she had a friend in high school who had a bad experience.
Stop liking me.
So, I mean, that's based on somebody else's experience. So moving forward, it's her choice. I mean, my choice was to go find my parents. Yeah. And I kind of thought, that maybe after I found out what, about her that she would do it, but she was too scared to do it because of her past.
So what
At least
scares
that's the
you?
way I understand the story, and I could be totally wrong, but it works.
But what scares you? And what wild and crazy thing would you love to do with your life or your business? You're like, no, people are going to talk about me. No, I might. I've seen someone fail doing that. What holds you back? And when I wanted to stay in business for now, and then later on we'll switch to the personal side because
Right.
personal side's a lot easier.
Well, I also look at it from a roller coaster standpoint. Do you like roller coasters? I love roller coasters.
I love roller coasters.
But are they scary? Yeah, they give you, butterflies in your tummy and all that other kind of stuff, thinking about going onto this ride. But then I think, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people have already done this? And then I just do it.
Though I did see one where someone fell out of it, and it kept me off of roller coasters for many years until I realized I'll make sure that thing locks.
Yeah. Well, there's accidents that happen. I mean, some people have a legitimate reason to be scared because they may have seen somebody,
Like me.
right. May have. Yeah, I used that word properly. Ha ha ha. Seesaw scene.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, my thing is when you have a fear and you have a legitimate fear and it's something that's holding you back, but it's holding you back from what you really want. My book, It's Not Luck Overcoming You, it's all about that. Overcoming the things. It's called It's Not Luck Overcoming You. It's because
Amazing. Imagine that.
yeah, surprise. The thing is there's so many things that hold us back, little things that if you look back at it, if you really reflect on it, there's basis on it against not being afraid of it. Does that make sense? Things that prove that you've already succumbed it, overcame it. You just don't remember that you did. So look at that problem, look at that issue and say, where have I seen anything like that before? So like with me, I'm afraid. I don't want to travel alone because I have a brain injury. And what if I get lost or what if I get tired and I can't remember where I am and I get
So
lost?
next time you go to Paris,
so
I'm
what
your handler.
So what I realized was I have an SOS on my phone. It's international. There are people out there who will always help me. I've got Google Translate if I'm in another country and they don't understand me. Worst comes to worst.
Presuming you have cell signal.
Yeah. Worst comes to worst. I sit at the airport until I figure out or I rest up enough for my brain to come back. And so I went, you know what? I can do this. I can go. And then when I got there, I met other people traveling who were also scared. So we kind of stayed together and okay, I've got you. And they're like, well, I'm so glad you know where you're going and what you're doing. I'm like, I got you. I assumed the leader role. I didn't even know where I was. And so the thing is I realized that I can overcome that because I have been alone before. I have been lost. I survived it. And so at 54, I can survive it again. So what are you afraid of? Look at the problem and realize that you've seen it before. You've seen it and you've overcome it before in some smaller way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. Once you see that, your brain does, wait a minute, maybe I can do this after all. And it will.
Well, I think our brain has a tendency to overshadow, of course, with fear.
Our brains are very good at over exaggerating.
Yes, very much so. I'm one of these ones who looks into the future and goes, are you sure you want to do that?
You have a magic ball?
I do.
Dang.
In my head. And then it turns out that circumstances change and it wasn't as bad as it should have been.
Oh, yeah.
According to my brain. Okay. So we look at it, whether it's picking up a new business. I mean, I'm looking at a new business venture now that you have to go back through and look at the logistics and the logical steps to it. Is it worth the return on investment or the ROI? Because it can be really scary if there is no ROI, but it can always be scary too if you don't know what the ROI is. So you have to protect yourself somehow in order to move into that business or not to move into that business. You have to make a logical, educated choice. Edumacated.
So Did you get that? Did we pound that in enough? Look at what your problem is. Realize that you've seen it before and go fix it. Now, number 2.
What's number 2?
In your life. If you're married, if you're single, if you're pursuing someone, if you're not pursuing something, do you want a relationship? Do you not want a relationship? What's holding you back on those?
Sometimes it's personal standards.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but sometimes it's personal standards in the way that we have expectations for that person that we want to be with.
Is that being fearful of what they're going to be?
It could be, because a lot of times I've heard these stories where this person writes out this long list of these are the qualities of the individual I must have.
And I'm going to manifest them.
And I'm going to manifest them and I'm going to bring them to life. And I'm now 45 years old and I have still not found this person. Or 50 or whatever. I mean,
well, I'm thinking in our age group,
yeah,
Brian, our age group, it's usually people are divorced, separated, remarried, divorced again, and they're like, I'm never going to find anybody. I'm done. And what I say is, write down your list,
right,
and realize what part of all of that did you play.
Ooh,
so
you just got deep now.
Yeah. So what you're afraid of, is it really the other person you're anticipating them to be, or how you will react to that person? And now let me go to my quote that I love so much from Byron Katie. Do you remember it?
The Rut in the Grave?
No, that's Ellen Glasgow.
Oh.
But I'm really proud of you for remembering Rut in the Grave.
That was the one that sticks to my head.
It's 3 types of control in the world.
Oh.
Mine, the other person's, and God's.
And nobody else's business.
And so when you are in a relationship and you're upset because the other person isn't doing something you want them to do, whose problem is it? Yours, that other person, or God's? Tends to be your problem because you're trying to control something that's not yours. So get out of it and realize that you can adjust yourself. When you look at a relationship, or you're looking at, let's say you're married and it's driving you crazy and you want out. Look at that relationship and say, how is it really that person? Or is it how my reaction to that person is? And is it worth going out back into the wild of singlehood, finding someone to realize, okay, that one little thing, that snore at night, that's nothing. That other person, the other thing or whatever you might run into is going to be far worse. So
I think there's always a worser story.
Yeah. So be careful what you wish for. And if you're out there single looking for somebody, be honest with who you are. If you've been in multiple relationships, what did you play in all those relationships that you've had multiple relationships? It's a you fix, not a next person fix. Okay.
Who was it? Elizabeth Taylor that had 8 husbands or something?
It's like, what's
the common denominator?
The common denominator, Elizabeth, was you. So what's the problem? High expectations is what it probably was. People are human, except that people have faults and flaws, and you accept them if you're going to accept them and be with them, or go live off on your own. Then be happy with that too.
Yeah. Well, I run across a lot of people in the stuff that I do. I run across a lot of individuals, especially women, and you see them on social media, and they sit there and they complain about this, they complain about that, and they complain about this, and why they can't find love, and why they can't this, and why they can't that.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Pretty much. And that's what it seems like, because I sit there and I read some of these things and I'm like, do you realize that you're an emotional wreck because you don't have somebody, because you haven't found somebody? Did you ever think that emotional status that you're in is what's causing the fact that you have this?
You're repelling.
Yes.
And that's why I love that song, The Greatest Love of All. Right? Have you heard The Greatest Love of All by Whitney?
Greatest
No.
love of all.
No. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself,
right.
It is the greatest love of all. Once you learn to love you in all your faults and glories,
in all the wrong places,
that is when you stop looking and look to love yourself, is when you'll start drawing people like flies. If you see me in a room, I am not looking for anyone.
Well, I would hope not. Michael might not like that.
Exactly. So I'm very happy, and I'm very comfortable with who I am. But I have people coming to me left and right. Why? Because there's a light. There's this energy of comfortable that people look for in their lives. And they're like, wow, there's so much peace there. I want that. I want peace in my life. So be that peace. Be that comfortable in your life that people want that. So if you're single, that's what you're after. be comfortable in you. When you don't need anybody else, that's when everybody wants you. So then you can piecemeal. Do they want me because they're filling a space? Or they want me because they want me in their life, not need me in their life. Big difference.
Helene just said, I need to come back to Texas so I can help. She can help me sing. I thought I was forbidden from Texas.
You were. And my voice is blown because last night I went out with Brian to some Halloween thing. He rocked the house. But the last song was a Janis Joplin.
For you.
Take a little piece of my heart now, baby. And I'm screaming, take another little piece of my... Yeah, it was kind of loud.
I lost my voice too, but I didn't really scream anything.
I have this little...
Just one of those nights,
I have this little heater in my lap. I just want you all to know that she's very warm. Okay.
That looks weird on camera.
I'm babysitting my sister's puppies. And this one's very needy.
Scared of having any more children in your house?
She's afraid to be alone.
Oh, goodness gracious. We diverted.
We did. I was just thinking, frightening. We've got Halloween coming up. There's people who don't celebrate it, but there's a lot of people who do. And part of that whole thing is that afraid stuff. And I was thinking, when you said roller coaster, we go on a roller coaster for the thrill. A lot of people go through Halloween for the thrill of haunted houses. Sometimes people go through life for the thrill. Now, do you catch this? Some people like the emotional roller coaster because they don't think they're on a ride unless they cause loops and turns and zigzags and ups and downs. And then they do, I don't know why I'm not happy. It's because you can only be on a roller coaster for so long.
Is that what called Karens? They have to get in your face. They have to make turmoil.
Yeah, maybe because they need something.
Yeah. We solve the world's problems.
Yeah, we are.
You get rid of all the Karens just by listening to us.
No Karen. I know a lot of really nice Karens. It's the proverbial Karens, and Kens and Karens that get in people's business, I guess. But remember, there's 3 types of control in the world. There's mine, yours, and God's. And when you're trying to control other people, especially when you're trying to control large groups of people, it's your problem, not theirs. What else?
Well, there we go. We solved all the world's problems today.
Thank you so much for Denim and Pearls for solving all problems.
There's no more shows after this. We've solved all the world's problems.
Okay. This is our last show. Thank you so much.
I have a feeling it's not. You got a kudo today. We got a kudo today, right?
We did.
What was that all about?
Oh, Liz. Liz wrote, and she said she was watching our old podcast and she picked up on one, and she says, it was exactly what I needed to hear. It was the answer because I was having struggles with something, and we can't say it out loud.
Well, no, we don't want to do that.
But yeah, she was having troubles, and she says it answered her issue. And so you're welcome. We may seem a little flighty in that we go through topics, but when you need us, it'll pop up.
I think it's just like, I think I've used it here before. You open up a book and you point to the book or the Bible, whatever, you open it up and the verse in the stanza applies to you today.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of stuff, even if it's social media, things come to us as we need them.
That's how the universe works.
The question is, do we recognize the signs?
Sign everywhere, sign.
No, I'm thinking of the old Jim Carrey movie. Was it Oh God or something like that, where
when he becomes
show me a sign. It's down the road. Sometimes we miss them. We look right past them on a daily basis.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere, every minute, every hour.
Like this puppy is telling me I need to settle down and relax. I need to not be running around, and I need to just sleep and enjoy being home.
You got 2 more days of spooky, scary stuff to do, though.
I do.
Today. What's today? Friday? Saturday? You got 3 days. Are you going to be able to handle all 3 days? I have to, so.
You have to. And on Monday night.
It's still not as bad as Galaxy Fest when I was 24/7 for.
My daughter brought home a crap ton of candy. So on Monday night, I'm handing out lots and lots of candy.
We don't get many kids anymore.
I know.
Are you?
Which means I'm going to hand out.
Two?
I'm going to hand out 4 eat 25. Hand out 4, eat 25. And
No, we're down on ours. We were always low anyway because we've got like big lots between us. So half-acre lots. It's a long walk from one house to the next house.
especially when it's usually -20 in Colorado.
But you guys live in a neighborhood that kids can walk.
Yeah, they all bus over here, and
they
then
had
they
to
walk
take
through.
they had to take like hay rides to get from one house to
But we still only get about 30 kids, so
Really?
it's still not an. Yeah, we
Oh,
have a
wow.
lot more candy than we're going to have kids.
Wow.
So if it's warm this Monday, we'll see.
Supposed to be, right?
If not, I'm going to be eating a lot of candy.
You'll have to go back to Paris to get your steps in.
Darn. I tell you, Europe was awesome, and Google Translate is your friend. I am not endorsing it. I'm just
Did
saying,
you really use it?
I went for a coffee, and I asked for a cafe latte. They understood that. With a
Well, it's French. Why?
with a croissant. And the waiter said, croissant? Why is it? Croissant? He was so confused. So I wrote in croissant inside of Google's Translate, and I hit the pronounce button, and it said croissant. And the waiter said, croissant. Not croissant. Croissant.
Is there a difference between the two words? But did you find that out?
Yeah, croissant is how you say
Well,
it.
I mean, the pronunciation is different, but does it mean two different things?
No.
No.
Croissant means nothing.
Means nothing.
And I kept saying croissant with the T on the end. He's like, no, it's croissant. And I was like, it was like going down south and asking for a soda, a pop, or Coke. And he had no idea what a soda was, but he understood pop. I'm like, really?
Is that still a conversation today?
No, but it was as the closest analogy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just wondering if is it. We used to have that conversation all the time because I was from the Midwest, and everybody I ran into in the military, of course, was from different areas.
Yeah.
So we had that conversation all the time, but I haven't had that conversation in a long time.
Yeah, because we've all figured it out.
Yeah, because when, like my mom,
I want a Coke. What flavor? Orange?
Exactly. My mom always drank Pepsi, but she called it a Coke. I want a Coke. Okay, I'll get you a Coke. No, I mean Pepsi.
That's okay. I learned in England, cream is yogurt. I want milk in my tea.
Say that again?
I asked for tea
Yeah.
with milk.
Right.
I mean, with cream. And they said, cream? We don't have cream. They have milk.
Okay, then. Of course, I think it'd be weird putting yogurt in your tea, though. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, they're like, we're sorry, we don't have cream. I said, oh, I like tea I like tea and coffee with creamer. And they went, oh, you mean milk? I said, yes. Oh, we have milk. I'm like,
you got to learn to adapt to the natives.
I'd like the white stuff to be poured into my coffee in my tea.
Well,
I ended up getting some liquor because every place I went had a gigantic bar.
So since we're on scary on this one, did you have any fear of anything, a scare of anything?
Anne Boleyn's house. Scary as out, get out.
Oh, that's not the route I was going with that, but I meant with having the conversations, meeting new people, having translation problems. Were you scared of any of that?
No. The only time I was scared about it is my phone died when I was in London. And I was out somewhere, and the group I was with was spreading. We were all dividing out and doing stuff. And I'm like, I want to go this way. Wait a minute. My phone is dead. Don't leave me.
Don't leave the house without your phone charged.
Well, because the battery was dying really fast out there, and I even had a backup battery, and it died too. We were
That's
walking.
because it was constantly searching or doing something.
Yes,
like that.
because we were, in order to get to the buses we were taking, all those things we needed our maps, and so we were using maps all through the city. And don't leave me, because I have no way to get back to where I'm going. And then the other place was when I was in Paris. Even though you had the address, there was Saint Pierre Croix. There was Saint Pierre Croix 0.26 east, St. Pierre Croix 0.26 east west. I mean, it was that subtle of a difference. And if you were one letter off, you're on the wrong side of town.
Interesting.
So it was like, this is the address. I didn't even bother saying it. I just clicked it on my phone and showed it to the Uber driver and said, "This is it. Is this the right place?" And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's what I didn't do today.
What?
There. I forgot to put this stuff up.
Yeah.
A little late in the program for that.
I wanted to call it, the Monster Mash or something like that.
I kind of forgot that. We talked about it last night.
But thinking about life and relating Halloween and being scared, what are you afraid of? Life is an adventure, but sometimes, it is an adventure.
Fear overtakes us sometimes.
Sometimes fear stops you from ever having the adventure of life at all. So go take little steps towards your fears, because what you'll find is what you think you fear is really your imagination of what you really think it's going to be. When you get there, it's really not that scary after all.
Well, you've got we only got a couple more minutes here, but you've got a big event coming up in January, right?
I do.
It's kind of spooky, scary.
It is.
From your perspective.
Yes, it's spooky, scary, because it's the first time I'm doing something this big. And it is January 25, 26, 27. And then there's a bonus VIP day on the 28th where the VIPs are going to be putting hair and makeup and lighting and all that jazz.
Boy, you are starting to dream big.
Headshots and everything. And then they are going to be recorded on my TV show.
Nice.
Yes. So it is a little spooky, scary, because I've had the one unapologetic speaking camp, and this one I'd like to have at least 20. And at this camp, the last camp, we only had 12, and I need 20. Why? Because I have 3 days, and 3 days is a long time to talk. So I have guest speakers coming in on the first and second day. But if you are wanting and ready to up your speaking game, no matter what level you're at, I'm here for you. But remember,
this is the stage on this is amazing.
Yes.
Nobody else, I don't think anybody else in this field is accomplishing what we're going to accomplish in January.
And if you can be on my stage in January,
you can be anywhere.
You can be on any stage, literally. And basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing you to the biggest thing you could ever see and be on. And be comfortable in that.
We can give it a hint too. If you want to be in Wembley Stadium when you're on the stage, you could be at Wembley Stadium. If you want to be at the Opera House, the Sydney Opera House, you could be at the Sydney Opera House.
And that's enough you're going to give them.
And that's all we're going to give them.
And so here's the thing. If you'd like to be a part of it, write me.
Well, you got it on your page, don't you?
I've got it on my website now, michellemoross.com. It should be a drop down for the events. Go there. Yeah. Go do it. If you've been waiting to invest in yourself to go have the most phenomenal 2023 and beyond, now is the time.
And you got the prices set at the lowest right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to get in, now's the time to get in.
Yes. And
get yourself a Christmas present.
Yeah. A gift that will keep on giving, because the connections.
There used to be a commercial about that.
Oh, really? The connections that you will make will also be phenomenal. I'm also looking for sponsors. So if you're willing to want to be part of the event and be a sponsor, we're looking for breakfast sponsors and lunch sponsors and
easy stuff.
Yeah.
Marketing, advertisers.
Yeah, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Reach out. You can write me through michellemoross.com or just go to me. Write me directly, email me at michellemoross.com. It's easier to go through my website because that way you don't get lost in junk mail. Okay. So go to michellemoross.com and write me through there. Anything else?
No, I think we give your advertisement. I don't have anything to advertise yet because my book's not done. My website is on its way.
Okay. Well, the other thing you want to know is I will be with my Amplifluence and my Movers and Shakers stuff in Tampa, in Orlando, in December, I can't remember. Oh,
probably
no,
December 3rd, the day of my birth. Oh, the day of my birthday.
I am. I'm going to be in DC at the day of your birthday. But no. November 29 and 30 are 2 big Movers and Shakers in Colorado, Denver and Colorado Springs. Then to DC and Pennsylvania, December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Maybe you should stay home.
and then down to Tampa, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, into Orlando, and then back to Baltimore on the 9th, and then I'm home on the 10th.
I hope you all wrote that down because I sure didn't. Anyway.
Lots coming. If you're in Colorado, pay attention to the last 2 days of the month. If you are in the DC, Baltimore, and New York area, I'm doing the New York Times December 4th. Maybe you should finish your book by then. Okay, and then Tampa will be the 7th and 8th. Tampa and Orlando. So if you're any of those places, keep track of my page because I'll be putting them up. Thank you so much for joining us on Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Moraz.
And I'm Ryan Swanson.
And
you don't have your glasses.
Be scary.
Oh.
Don't be scared. Go be brave. Go see the cool things. And I've got a hint of what I'm going to be tonight at Stone's.
A librarian? Peace. Hey.
What's that?
I don't know what that is. It's really weird. How about... Peace.